Welcome to week 6, chapter 6 in terrorism. Chapter 6 is titled Long Term Separatist Terrorism. As always, make sure to read the chapter, look over the PowerPoint presentations, and look over any material that's provided before attempting any graded assignments. A few things that I want you to take away from this chapter are be able to describe the emergence of the modern IRA and terrorism in Northern Ireland. I want you to understand the basis for negotiating peace in Northern Ireland. I also want you to be able to describe the nature of Basque culture and its separateness within Spain. I want you to understand the birth and the evolution of the ETA. I want you to be able to explain the rise of the GAL. I want you to describe the unit aspect of LTTE suicide bombings. Uh, Most of these, or all of this, is in your reading. I really want to, and I want you to listen to these lectures before you take your quizzes. I really try my best to touch on the things that are in your quizzes. The objectives, they're all good, and I want you to learn those. I go over the things that I actually want you to comprehend in lectures, and I want you to take away from the class when you start your next year of college next year. I want you to remember this stuff that I'm going over in the lecture. So I think it's important when you move on to other classes. And terrorism's tough. I mean, it's really so complicated that I understand how you can get confused with some of the topics that we go over. So don't hesitate to reach out to me if you're reading this stuff and you get confused. And I always, if you need an immediate response, text me, email me, and I usually try to get back within 24 hours, usually quicker than that, with an email. But let's go over a few things. The IRA is the Irish Republican Army, and although its original goal of expression was through expressing itself through peaceful political idealism, that involved into terrorism. Uh, the actual political party of the IRA is known as Sinn Féin. Sinn Féin. Um, the split in the IRA ranks, one side seeking was when they split the ranks, one side was seeking peaceful political idealism, and the other was fighting for independence. It began to occur in the 1930s. The IRA is viewed as having set the stage for modern separatist terrorism, and it's even known as the group associated with the 1916 Easter Rising, which was a rebellion in Ireland done in protest against British rule in Ireland. The IRA is also viewed as having set the stage for modern separatist terrorism, which we talked a little bit ago. On page 132 of your textbook, it discusses the Anglo-Irish Peace Accord, which was designed in 1985. So be sure to read and understand that material. On page 133 of your textbook, the Basque Nation and liberty is discussed. Know that the Basque Nation is the same as the group ETA. Understand that the ETA waged a campaign of violence from 1959 to 2011 that's killed more than 800 people. It is specialized in car bombings and assassinations, and ETA terrorists targeted Spain's number one industry, tourism. So the ETA's goal was to establish an autonomous homeland in northern Spain and southern France. And the ETA has not ceased activity even currently, has not ceased activity throughout Europe. There are more Basques living outside Spain than within the country. I think that's a quiz question, so remember that one. Uh, and also what we discussed a little bit before, the ETA has not ceased activity throughout Europe. I think that's on the quiz, so remember that, and if you need to retain that when you get to it. So we don't discuss GAL much in this chapter, but I do want you to understand that GAL is an anti-terrorist liberation group that was established or born to initially stop or destroy the ETA. Uh, this is a short chapter, but as I said earlier, terroristic groups are extremely complicated. So make sure to use every resource that's provided. I've tried to touch on most of the questions that's on your quiz, so listen intently to this lecture, and I think you'll do fine on the graded material. Have a wonderful week, and never hesitate to reach out to me Uh, as I said earlier, don't worry about texting me. If you text me on a weekend, if you need an immediate response, I usually get right back to you. So thanks, and have a great week.